This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Good morning, friends. In this Azure Databricks Master Program, in today's session, we'll talk about reading files from the blob storage. Okay. Meaning, I want to read files which we have in the blob storage. What is storage? We discussed how to collect the data, how the data is generated, how to collect the data, where to store the data. So when we mention all these points, I mentioned one of the storage is a blob storage. So blob storage is kind of a normal, our C drive is there, some space will be there, right, in C drive. So there is hard disk. Similarly, so the blob storage is default. When you create a Databricks, one blob storage will come. So that will be connected to the Databricks by default. Okay, when you create a Databricks workspace, one blob storage will come. That blob storage will be connected to the Databricks directly. Okay, but if I have another blob storage, if I have another blob storage, in that blob storage I have a data. So now how I can connect that blob storage with the Azure Databricks? How to connect that blob storage with Azure Databricks? Clear to all of you? Now, before I move on, what is blob storage? Remember, blob storage is a object storage. Object meaning basically audio, video files, image, photos. This is recommended to store in the blob storage, but generally in real time, blob storage is used for storing temporary data. Let's say as a staging layer, I want to read data from the on-premise, load it into the blob storage. From blob storage, again, you read data, make the transformation. Finally, you write data to Synapse or somewhere, but data will not be there in the blob storage permanently until the transformation, the process is going to happen. Temporarily you are going to store data in the blob storage. In those use cases we are using the blob storage. Okay, in those use cases we are going to use the blob storage for storing the data. And what, like, slowly one by one. So today blob storage, tomorrow data lake storage, and to next Synapse, SQL DB, how to connect one by one we will see. So today we'll start with a blob storage. Blob storage is a database or file system.
It's a file system.
File system.
Okay, remember. So some people may ask, what is database? What is file system? Database will have data in a tables, only in tables. File system can store data in a files. That may be text file, CSV file, Parquet file, Avro file. There are different types of files you will have. So maybe many of you know only Notepad. Sorry, Excel. Maybe some of you know Excel, but most of the people might know Notepad. Okay. Okay, here you will have CID, C name, C location, like this. If you type it, so this I can able to, this I can able to read it. This I can able to read it from the what? Read it from Databricks. Okay, like this you may prepare the data and you can save this file as a CSV file if you want. If you put here my data.csv, it will become CSV. If you put it as a txt, it will become a txt, and so on. Okay, if you, yeah, so this is basically supports only text and CSV. But if you want to make this as a JSON file, the JSON structure will be different. If you want to make this as a Parquet is not human readable. So I'll show you all the different file formats, how you can able to read and write it. Okay, slowly. So for now, what I wanted to show you is, what is this PPT? Yeah, here, reading files from blob storage. Okay, so in today's session we'll learn different ways of accessing blob storage, meaning what are the different ways that I can use to connect to the blob storage from Databricks. So one is temporary connection, one is permanent connection. Remember, okay, one is temporary connection, one is permanent connection. So mount Azure Blob Storage container to DBFS. What is DBFS?
Database
Database
file
file
system.
system.
Databricks file system. So by default, blob storage, one of the blob storage is mounted, but this is my own blob storage which I creating externally. Okay, for my business use case, I am creating another blob storage. So that blob storage, I want to access it from the Databricks. So mount Azure Blob Storage containers to Databricks file system using a storage key. Using the storage key, how we can able to, okay, using the storage key, how we can able to connect to the blob storage from Databricks. That is the first thing. Mounting is, remember, mount is nothing but a permanent connection. Even you delete 100 clusters, you create a new clusters, but connection still will be available. You try to create 100 notebooks. You try to try to read the files from blob storage from 100 notebooks. Connection will be available across all the clusters, across all the notebooks if you have created a mount point. If you have created a mount point is nothing but you are taking the storage path and you are attaching to the Databricks. You are taking the storage path. Okay, this is the path I want to access it. Let's say you want to access everything. There is a root container you create and you can mention, okay, this is the root folder I want to access. Then whatever subfolders we have, whatever files are there, everything we can able to read. Basically, you take that particular path, you attach in the Databricks. That is nothing but a mounting. Mounting is a permanent connection or temporary connection.
Permanent.
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 Very good. Now, if I have 100 users in my workspace, will these 100 users can able to access this mount point or not?
Yes.
Yes, not no. Okay, yes. Answer is yes, because this will be available across all the clusters. This will be available across all the notebooks. This will be available across all the sessions. Each user session will be different. Maybe I'm working on my notebook, another employee is working in another notebook, and so on. In this case, multiple sessions are going to create. Okay, so all these sessions are having the mount point, meaning the connection will be available across all these sessions. Now, use the access keys directly. What is this? Meaning you are accessing the storage without attaching the storage into the Databricks. You are directly accessing. If you directly access per session, once you establish a connection in that session, let's say I have established the connection, only in my session I can able to access. If I go and create a new cluster, in that cluster I cannot execute. If I go and create a new notebook, I cannot able to access data from another notebook. Okay, that is the problem with the access keys. So we will talk about mount point today. Tomorrow we will talk about the mount point using different keys. Third day we will talk about how to access these storages directly. We will see. Clear to all of you? Next, what is storage account? Just we have seen. So storage account is one of the Azure service which is used to create your blob storage and data lake storage Gen2. So how to create data lake storage Gen2, how to create a blob store, I'll show you. Key vault service. Anybody know key vault service?
To store our secret passwords and all.
Why you need to store your secrets, passwords, everything in the key vault? I think last session we discussed, right? Key vault.
Security
Yes.
purpose.
Correct. Last time we stored, yeah, we have discussed in our last session. Key vault is for the security purpose. So what we realized is people who are having the notebook, they can able to read the passwords that we have stored in the key vault, and they can able to see. If you want to restrict somebody from reading the key vault passwords and all, you should not give the access to them at all. Why you are storing your sensitive information in key vault is for the security purpose. Okay, for the security purpose. Outside people cannot able to access the key vault. Whoever is having the permission, only they can able to access the key vault. Next, Azure Databricks, as you know, so we need a Azure Databricks today to like basically we are basically creating storage account. We will have a data. So whatever data we have in storage account, that I want to read it into the Databricks. So I need to establish a connection to the storage account from Databricks. While establishing the storage account connection to the storage account from Databricks, one thing is we need to have some credentials of the storage account. Those credentials of the storage account, instead of hard coding in the notebook, I'll put it in the key vault. From key vault, I'll read it into the Databricks. Okay. Secret scope. What is scope? Anybody remember?
Connection.
Connection.
What is secret scope? Connection. Okay, very good. Next. So we will see how to create mount point today. Reading different format files. If you want, you can reading multiple files, writing data frame as a CSV file, writing data frame as a Parquet file, prerequisite, all these things. But we won't discuss reading Parquet, writing Parquet and all, because those things we will take care separately. Okay, so we will see CSV files, Parquet, JSON, Avro, ORC, Excel, XML, all these type of file, how to handle in Spark, we will see. Okay. So overview is, I'll first create my data. I have a sample data. That data I'll create Azure Blob storage. In Azure Blob storage, I'll upload this data. Two steps. First step is I'm creating the sample data. Second step is I'm creating the blob storage. Third step is I'm uploading this data source on the blob storage. Three steps are completed. Fourth step is take the blob storage credentials. Credentials means some sensitive information to connect to the blob storage. Take the storage key, store it in the Azure Key Vault. Okay, take the blob storage key, store it in the Azure Key Vault. Then you create a Databricks. From Databricks, you will connect to the Key Vault. Why you are connecting to the Key Vault? Because you can't connect to the blob storage directly. You need a key for that. So that's why you go to Key Vault, get the key. Once you get the key, using that key, you can connect to the blob storage. So once you connect it to the blob storage, you can read data from the blob storage, and vice versa also you can able to do. Maybe that arrow I have not shown. So that arrow should be something like this. You can able to read data into Databricks. You can able to write data back to the blob storage from the Databricks. Got it? You can also able to read the data into Databricks. From Databricks, you can also write data back to blob storage. Got it? So this is the flow. This flow is very important. If you want, I can explain one more time. Let me tell you the process here. If you see data source, you created some sample data, upload this sample data in the Azure Blob storage. Okay. You create some sample data, upload this sample data in Azure Blob storage. So from Azure Blob storage, you take the Azure Blob storage keys, put it in the Azure Key Vault. From Azure Key Vault, what you need to do is Databricks should connect to the Key Vault for that particular storage key. Once the Databricks get that key, using this Azure Key Vault password, it will connect to the blob storage. Once it is connected to the blob storage, we can able to read data into the Databricks from blob. We can write data back to the blob storage from the Databricks. Okay. So this is the overview diagram. This is very important because we are going to follow all the steps based on this. Okay. Any questions? Any doubts? Let me know quickly. Any doubts till here? Any doubts or questions? All of you clear? Okay, good. I'll show you the step one is, as I mentioned, sample data. Okay. So first point is sample data we need. Okay. So for that, I already have some sample data. You can see. Let's say I have some sample data. Well, let's talk about a cust table. Okay. Maybe credit data, some credit card information. I have some sample data. Okay. This data I want to upload into where? I want to upload into the blob storage. So I'll go and create the blob storage. Okay, let's go and create the blob storage. First, let's open the portal.azure.com. Up to 5 terabytes you can mention. Okay, so go to Azure Databricks. So this is there in East US. If you want to create another Databricks, let's create another Databricks. As I mentioned, every session I'll start from very scratch. I don't want to make any dependency with the previous sessions. Okay, so maybe I'll also create a new resource group, Cloudpandith -RG1. Click OK. Workspace, Cloudpandith workspace, and it is I am taking in Australia East. Click. Yeah, 1 second. Let's try to take a standard. So premium I'll show you. Okay, don't worry. Create it. So deployment is in progress. Meantime, I want to show you how to create a mount point to the blob. Okay, how to create mount point for blob in Databricks. You search like this. You will go to, see, don't go anywhere, just to come down. You see Mount Azure Blob Storage. Okay, go to Mount Azure Blob Storage. So this is basically a Python code. Okay, this is basically a Python code. Go back. So we need a proper documentation. Why it is coming all these videos? Yeah, go to Mount-Azure Blob Storage. This you can use. I'm not restricting that, but I need a generic notebook. I'll see. This is the link. Okay, this is the actual link that you need to bookmark basically. Okay, this is the actual link that you need to bookmark. Okay, so remember this I'm saying CB31 link. So from tomorrow onwards, I'll keep opening only this link. Okay, I'll not open anything. Now come down. So not this side, you come this side, you see something called Azure Blob Storage. Okay, you see here accessing Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 and Blob Storage with Databricks. Access Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 1 from Databricks. Connect to Azure Blob Storage with WSBS. Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. Click on this WSBS. Come down. So this is a direct connection. Okay, this is the direct connection. Okay, this shared access signature. See, this is a mount point. Now let's say I want to establish the connection using Python. You need to use this. Okay, I want to use Scala to do this. You need to use this. Okay, we will see today both, like how to establish the connection to the blob storage using Python, how to establish the connection to the uh, blob storage using the Scala. Do you see small syntax changes, but everything is similar, very similar steps will be there. So I think we have still 1 hour to go. We can able to do it in both Python and Scala, so that if I show in one, you can able to do for other storages and all. Okay, so but ultimately remember, if you want to establish a mount point anything for the let's say tomorrow data lake storage Gen 2, next you want to connect to the Snowflake, you want to connect SQL, Azure SQL database, you want to connect, then you, let's say you want to connect to the Azure Synapse, you want to connect to the Cosmos DB, so maybe you want to connect to the AWS S3, Amazon Redshift. So you can see all these things basically, Cassandra, Elasticsearch, Google BigQuery, Google Cloud Storage, anything you want to connect, you can able to connect. But mostly as we are relevant into Azure and like I'll try to cover AWS. So we will see SQL database, Snowflake. Then I'll also show you with Cassandra, no, like what is that? Cosmos DB with SQL API, but not a Cassandra API. So this Cosmos DB with SQL API I'll show you. Then Synapse I'll show you. AWS S3 I'll show you. If you want AWS Redshift also I'll show you. Okay, and a blob storage ADLS Gen 2. So we will see establishing the connection to all these things, how we can establish. I'll try to show you. Okay, clear? Fine. Now, so this is the Databricks workspace is available. Now you come down, launch workspace. Why I create a Databricks workspace? Any idea? Because it takes more time. That's why I have done. I skipped all the steps. Blob storage keyword directly. I created Databricks. Okay, but I'll go and create the blob storage keyword as well. Now, once I started the cluster here, so meantime I can go and create blob storage keyword. Okay, by the time our cluster is up, we will be able to create blob storage everything. Okay, close this. Now come to compute. So I'll share that link with you all, don't worry, the documentation link. Okay, so this is the cluster name. If you want to edit, you can edit. So I'll say Cloudpandith labs. Okay. Labs cluster. Okay, fine. Next, so which type of mode we need to take? Single node, as we are using the free trial, just click create cluster. So meantime what I'll do is I'll just go and create the blob storage, data lake storage into blob storage and keyword. So only those two things we need for today. So what I'll do is I'll just go to the blob storage, go to storage account. So this is the storage account that you need to create. Why there are two storage accounts here? So with the different names, it seems to be humans not created these storages. You see some boards and all. So and you can also clearly see east to west there is one Databricks, Australia east one Databricks is there. So meaning these are the default storages. But I want to create my own storage. Just click create storage account. So free trial so this is the basically a subscription. This is a resource group. Storage account name I'll say Cloudpandith. Okay, blob 0808. Cloudpandith blob 0808. In which location? You can choose any location. I want it in a east to west. So geo redundancy, all these things I'll discuss. Region means from which data, in which data center you want to store your data. I want to store it in east to west. If you simply click review plus create, it will create a blob storage. Remember, if you go to advanced and there is something called enable hierarchical namespace. So if you enable hierarchical namespace, that basically talk about a data lake store gen. It will create data lake. But I'm not checking this. I'm simply creating review plus create. When you click review plus create, it will create the blob storage. So I'll show you all those differences and I'll slowly. Okay, on one day you'll not be able to understand. This is a storage, how to create storage, how to store data and all. You look into it, then you will come to know the differences. If I explain theory, I need to explain a lot of time. Instead, if I show you one or two labs and then show you the difference, how we are working with that, how we are working with this, what options are showing here, what options are not available there, it will be easy for you also. Now go to keywords, create a keyword. This is a free trial subscription. Resource group is Cloudpandith-RG1. Keyword name Cloudpandith AKB 0808. Okay, so in east to west, let it be not a problem. Just click review plus create. Then click review plus create. So now if you look at this diagram, we have a data ready. We have created blob storage. We have created keyword. We created Databricks. Now what is the first step? Step one is take this data source, upload into the blob storage, upload into the blob storage. I'm just going in that way. Okay, so this is the blob storage. If you see that is ready, go to resource, come to containers. Containers is nothing but a folders where you will create your folders and upload data. So click on create a container. Here I'll say this is my global container created. Okay, global container is created. Under global container, you click upload. You click upload here. Select a file. Go to the browse where you have your files, go to set -, comma. You see I have credit data, whatever I have shown you, credit.csv file. Click upload directly if you want. Otherwise, let's say you want to upload into subfolders, cust or credit. So credit is a folder. Click upload. Credit is the folder that you can able to upload. Clear? Under credit folder, you can able to see credit.csv file is there. But now what I want is in the storage, whatever folders are creating in this global container, inside global, whatever files are uploading, whatever folders are creating, everything should be accessible from the blob storage. Accessible from the blob storage. In that case, what I need to do, I need to attach this particular global container in a blob storage. If I attach this global container in a Databricks, I can able to access all the subfolders, files, everything that I have under this Databricks. Whatever subfolders, files are there under this global container, everything will be accessible from the Databricks notebooks. I'm repeating once again. I want to make this global container available in the Databricks cluster, Databricks, so that whatever subfolders, files are uploading inside this global container will be accessible. Clear to all of you? Any doubts in this? So I'm not getting any response. Are you all understanding, not understanding what it is?
Yes, we understand.
Okay, good. Now you come here. As I mentioned, this is the ultimate documentation. So as we are trying with the Python first, copy this Python first, put that here, go to create a notebook. I'll create a Python notebook. So I'll say notebook for credit data processing in Python. So I'm just basically Python we won't mention, but I'm mentioning in the notebook name as Python because we are trying with the Python and Scala both today. Okay. So just put the code here. Which code I have copied? This code, whatever code we have here, that code I am putting in. So just now we talked about container name. What is the container name? Which container we are trying to attach? Which container? Global. Copy this.
Global.
Put this container name here. Whatever container name is the same name you need to keep it here. Put it here. Then storage account name. What is your storage account name? What is your storage account name?
Credit.
Cloudpandith Blob 0808. This is the storage account name, not a credit. Credit is a file name. Okay. Data. So here you replace your container name and storage name. This is your mount name, meaning you are attaching the global container. You are attaching the global container. Now, what is this config key? Okay, now come to documentation once again. So it will clearly tell you config key. Config key can be either of these. If you are using a storage account key, this. If you are using the SaaS authentication, this as I mentioned, there are two ways to authenticate using the within the mount point itself. I said two ways. One is today we will discuss, tomorrow we will discuss one more, right? One is key, account key, right? Copy this account key, put this account key here. Sorry, not account key. This is a configuration details. You just put it. See here, config key can be either of these. As we are going to use the account key for today, you copy this. If you are using the SaaS shared access signature, you need to copy this. As we are using account key, so you have to copy first line. I just put it here. In this, you see again it is asking storage account name. What is our storage account name? What is our storage account name?
Cloudpandith Blob.
Cloudpandith
Blob 0808. Now everything is good. There is a storage. In this storage, I want to attach this container. The question now is how to connect. Suppose there is a one of your shopping Flipkart account you have. Maybe you have net banking credentials. Will you simply share somewhere? No, right? I cannot hard code here. That is not allowed. You should not hard code here. Okay. I should not put any hard-coded value here. What we need to do, we already discussed in previous session how to store the some values in the key vault, how to access them. So can somebody tell me? So I'll tell you the step one, because step one you might not aware. That is, go to blob storage, take a keys. How to take keys is you see access key. This is a blob storage. First we went to container. We created a global container under that credit folder and uploaded the data. Okay, go back. Access keys, if you see in these access keys, you can see clearly keys, show keys. Copy this key. Okay, copy this key. And this key basically I want to store it in a key vault. Go to resource. Can somebody tell me where I need to go and store?
Go to secrets.
Secrets.
Very good. Go to secret, generate / import. Here I need to put a blob key. Blob account key I need to put. Please be in mute. Okay. So store this key. I am again going back. You see here, go to access keys, hide and show this, and then there is a copy option. Just click on this. That will be copied. Then you just put it here. Then click create. Meaning, see, there is no set activation date, set expiration date. Meaning it will be activated immediately now, and it will be available forever. Okay, but if you put some activation time, tomorrow onwards you start activating this key, and this should be available till next 1 year. So you put expiration dates and all, but I am not putting anything. This will be available immediately, activated immediately, available for us to use it. Okay, create it. Now we are here. So yesterday we discussed how to connect to the key vault to read this key into Databricks. What is the step one we need to do?
DBFS command we have to use.
No.
No,
We need to
need
establish connection. I
secrets.
said you need to
Secret
edit
scope.
URL. Okay, you need to say secrets / create scope. You need to do. I mentioned. Here you can mention AKV connection, Azure keyword connection. So this is for all users. How to connect to it? Come to key vault, go to properties, copy this value URI, then put that value URI here. Come here, copy this resource ID. Create it. So the secret scope named AKV connection has been added. Click OK. Now go to recents. Click on this credit notebook. Okay, now we discussed how to get the name of this connection. If you don't know anything, I mentioned dbutils.help. You take a help, then you know you need to access the secrets. We already discussed all these things. Under dbutils, again, I don't know anything. You just use these secrets. Okay, copy this secrets, put this dbutils.secret. Further, I don't know what all things are there. Just to take a help, and you can able to see here on secrets what all things you can able to do. If you want to know the scope that we created, you can say list scopes. Okay, you can simply see here it is basically AKV connection. The name of the connection is AKV. Let's say I want to know the secrets that we created there. Okay, just say here here list the secrets. Okay, basically we are listing the secrets that are there under this Azure key vault. Let's put this. See, this is the blob account key. Now we have a secret, we have a scope, both. Now I want to use this connection to read this value. How to read it? dbutils.secrets. So you can see here dbutils.secrets. There is a get. Okay, scope. Okay, scope is AKV connection, comma. You can put a here, this is a blob account key. You can directly put it like this. You will come to know when we cover Python. So there are different ways you can use. This is called a keyword arguments. These are called a keyword arguments. So these are called a positional arguments. What are these? There are different types of arguments will be there. Positional arguments. Positional arguments means first you are giving AKV connection. Based on the position, first value will go and assign as a scope. Second value will go and assign as a key. So if it is a keyword argument, simply what you need to do is you need to use scope equal to AKV connection, key equal to blob connection. You need to give something like this. Okay, copy this. Okay, you put that here. Okay, I'm just putting here whatever we formed here, right? Same thing. I'm just basically execute this. Basically, you will get a redacted. Okay, you know that. So on last session, we also have seen how to read the. So don't cover like this. We also have seen last time how to read the secrets that we have, okay, using for loops and all, right? Fine. Now before I create mount point, I need to see what all things are available. fs.help. On discussing the dbutil command, I said this will come after. Okay, so mount related, I am using mount. You see here dbutils.fs.mount. Okay, mount I am using. What is this mounts? Mounts means existing attached storages. Okay, dbutils.fs.mounts. So these are the some of the default mounts. These are some of the default mounts will be there. Okay, these are the some of the default mount points are available, but there is no custom, like there is no mount point which is created by we. Okay, we haven't created any mount point. Okay, refresh mount, as I mentioned, just for refreshing. Unmount for detaching the storage. You attach storage using mount, you detach storage using the unmount, meaning you are disconnecting using unmount, you are connecting using mount. Okay, update mount means anything is changed, you can able to update using the update mount. Okay, that's okay, but let's focus on the so mounts. When you see this mnt/global is not showing, you see here mnt/global is showing or not? No. Now first execute this. Okay, you are now creating the mount point. Okay, you are establishing the connection. Now what happens, we'll see. Okay, true means it's created. Now let's come to the mounts. See mnt/global, the mount point is showing here or not? This. Okay, yes or no? Yes. Now I want to read the data. That is there in my mnt/global. So we no need to execute all these commands again and again. Okay, so what you can do is you just have seen the mount point name is mnt/global. You take this path. This is the basically in real time what we will do is we will develop a function to say that get credit mount. Okay, so here you are basically return, you will return this. Okay, now what happens, this is a function we develop in any real-time projects. Okay, this basically used for returning the mount point. Now what I want to do is I want to form the source path for reading my credit data. Source path. So source path means so mnt/global, go to container blob storage. So this is a global. Till global already the connection, the path is taken. Under global there is a credit folder. Okay, so now what you need to do, you call get credit mount. Okay, So this function will return the mnt/global plus, okay, mnt/global it will return. You also try to put it like this so that it will be easy for us to do. So now mnt/global, here what I'll do, I'll pass a credit. The folder name I'll pass it here as a credit. Now if you execute the source path, okay, if you print the source path, you'll come to know the path which it is created. Get credit amount basically give you mnt/global. Okay, so like in real time we may have bigger lengths, okay, maybe sub folders we may mount. So that's why instead of writing everything, we will write a function to return this. That function will return mnt/global. Under that global, I have a subfolder, this credit. This credit also we won't hard code, we will pass it as a parameter. We already have seen how to create parameters in notebook.
Widget.
Widgets, okay. So already we discussed the different types of widgets with the combo box, multi-select, drop down, text, reading that using get, removing the widgets using remove all those things we covered. Now print source path mnt/global credit data. Okay, this is the path. Basically, just now we have fixed one of the project issue, right? Prashant has shared this issue. He is basically pointing to the folder. Under that folder, he has 14 files with a 100 MB, 50 MB in his project. Okay, so how we have read, he is basically pointing to till folder level. Folder meaning he is not reading a single file. He is mentioning up to folder. When you mention up to folder, under folder whatever files are there, everything will be read. If you have 10 files, 10 files will be read. But remember, make sure all the 10 files should have a same structure, meaning same number of columns and same data types of columns. Everything should be there. Now, how to read this particular data which is there in the credit folder is, there is a Spark. Okay, I'll discuss about the Spark architecture, all those things, because we just started. Spark is nothing but a Spark session, which basically create a one session for us in the Spark cluster. So using that Spark session, we can execute our code. So I am using this Spark. For doing anything in Spark, you must need a Spark session. Okay, I want to use this Spark session, and using that I want to read a file. What type of file it is? CSV file. That's all simple, right? So you mention mnt/global. This is the source path. You mention this variable. It pass the path. Do I have headers in my CSV file or not? Yes. I am not sure whether you have seen or not, but there are headers. See, these are headers of my CSV file. So headers are there. I'll say true. Header equal to true. Yes, there are headers in it. This creates a data frame. Okay, if you want to display the data, I just have shown in same project issue, there are a lot of columns he has. When he has shown df.show, some of the columns are going to the next line. It's not a much readable. That's why I suggested him to go with the display of df. So when you go with the display of df, if you have more columns, there will be a drop down here, drag will be there. You just can drag that bar so that you can look at all the columns. But you see, I am able to read the data. I'm able to read this data. I'm able to read this particular data. Cleared all of you? Next. So there are different syntaxes that we have to read the CSV file. Simple one I have shown you. Spark read.csv. CSV is what? Format. So you can also mention CSV is a format. Format is CSV. Okay. And load from where? From which location I want to load the file is a source path. Okay, and if you want to mention header equal to true like this, you can mention header equal to true. So this way also it will work. This way also it will work. Okay, next further, there are other things also we discussed. Other things is, let's say header equal to true. No, header also I want to remove from this. You can say, hey, there is one of the option. Let me tell you, the option is there are headers in my file. Can you consider header equal to true? Okay, just to display this. Do you have any questions? I'm expecting at least one question from all of you.
All these options are effective performance wise. I mean, the same.
Yes. Performance wise, Whatever options we have used as of now, those will not impact. Now you should ask what
Hello,
happens if I
Malaya.
use header equal to false. What
I have one
happens if I use
question.
header equal to false? Wait, I'll take. What
It will
happens
it will
if I use
it will skip header.
It will show.
So now you wait. See, people who know already, that is good, but people who don't know, they also should understand, right? Wait. So you see, there are headers, but those headers are not showing at a column level. Instead, that is considered as a first row. This is a second row, third row, and so on. But if you go to previously, you see, first row is the actual data. Your headers are showing at a headers place. That's why if we have headers, you must say header equal to true. If you are not saying that, it will consider that okay, there is no headers for this particular file, and it will create a default headers. The existing headers, it will treat it as a data. Okay, it will treat it as a data. So that's why you need to use a true. Okay, this is a one more syntax. Okay, so a lot of syntaxes nowadays we have. Okay, so you can also mention like this, that spark dot read dot load. Okay, format equal to CSV, header equal to true. So different ways you can able to read the data and create the data frame. So see, total 4 ways I have shown you how to read the CSV file. All of you clear? All of you clear or not? Is okay. Now, yeah, before I move on, let me take any questions that you have. Please let me know quickly.
Hello.
Yes,
Yeah.
Chidanand, tell me.
Suppose yes, Malaya. Suppose we have like 4 files in that folder. If I
Hmm.
want to read a particular file, then just I have to
You need to
mention
mention that
file
file name
name dot
here.
csv, right? Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. What is that? Simple, very good. But yeah, people who are not aware, let me tell you. See, credit dot CSV if you put, it can read only that file. Even though you have other files, it will not care about it. Okay, clear? All of you clear? Okay, good. Now, data frame. Will you take one? What, Vikash? We will take everything, Vikash. You know. See, basically, you are worrying whether I'll cover this topic, that topic. We started classes just we completed 1 week. We have 2 months to go. I'll take everything. Don't worry. You are worrying too much. I think you are working, right? That's why. Don't worry. Everything will cover whatever you need. Everything will be covered as part of the training.
Malaya,
Next. Yes, yes, Prashant.
just one note. If you have multiple files in a folder,
Hmm.
if there's a likewise pattern, we can select like that. Some .csv files are there, multiple, but they are starting with some particular name. Like we use likewise parameters in a
No, that
SQL
will
or
not
like.
work here. No, that will not work here. What you need to do is one by one file you need to read. Whatever files you need, you read and you union all the data after you read. Okay.
Not like in
So
a
if you
Azure Data Factory.
no, that wildcard options and all will not work here. Okay.
Okay.
Fine. Next. So till here we are good, right? Let's say you take this. I want to write this data back. df dot write dot format of. So I'll write it as a CSV only as it is with the headers. Whatever headers are there, same headers I want to write header, comma true. I want to save this data to same path. Let's say this time I want to create the target path. So if you want to create a target path, how you will create target path? Get tgt path equal to get credit mount place. I'll say credit out. Okay, let me see the total path what I am getting. So this is the final path in which I am going to write my output data tgt path. anything you can use. There is no performance, nothing. Okay. So you just come here, any method you can use. So go to credit out. Here you can see these are metadata informations. This is a transaction is successful or not. See, success and started will not have anything. These are simply metadata files. Committed will have your data is written into what all files, what are the file names and all will be there under committed. Under committed will have that information. If you see the part file name, it will have, okay, in this file we have written your data, it is showing. Okay, so this is the actual file that is created with the actual data. Okay, part file, you can see that. Okay, fine. Now if I write again, what will happen now? If I just execute once again, what will happen? Very
It will
carefully
save.
observe what happens.
It will save target file path. One more file it will create.
Correct. So basically what it will do is it will basically, it has the already data, it will fail it basically, because you are not telling anything to me. There is already data. So when there is already data, there are two options, right? One option is you remove the whatever data you have and write only this new data. That is one option. That option is called a overwrite. That option is called a overwrite. The other option is, okay, there is a data already, let it be. You add this new data also to the existing data. That is nothing but append. Okay. So df dot write dot, here you need to say mode. Okay, mode of, what is the mode? You want to overwrite. Overwrite means basically whatever data is there, remove it and write this new data. That is the thing. Okay, the data is written. Now come here, refresh it. So you will be able to see part file is only one because it's just overridden 759, meaning just now it is updated. Just now it is updated. This is the latest committed file where our data is written. You can see how I will know this is the latest file, but based on the modified date. Next, come here. Now what happens if I am not using mode? I have not shown you, right? Let's say if I'm not showing any, if I'm not using any mode, it will throw immediately error. So path, this is already existed. So what do you want? You want to override or append? You must have to tell. Okay, let's say mode is append. I'll tell you. Append means duplicate data will go now, because already same data is there. Again, you are adding same data to this path. Okay, fine. Now come here, refresh it. So you'll be able to see two part files. See 8 o'clock 49 seconds. This file got created. This is the one more like latest. Latestly we have written this, but existing file was not deleted because not overwrite. Overwrite means existing file will be deleted. New file will be created with the new data. But as it is a append, older data it kept as it is. New data it is writing as it is. Okay. This is a new data. This is a old data. Okay, clear. Fine. Now come here. Overwrite and append, overwrite and append. Okay, good. Next thing is, what I want is, I want to show you, let's say I will detach this, I'll remove this. Okay, I removed it, right? I basically, you see clearly, carefully observe this. I'm detaching completely. I am removing this. Okay, again I am attaching this. Read it. Source path is not available because you need to set this source. 1 second. Execute this. These are, I'm not creating any mount point, remember. Okay, just read it. Now you will be able to see. Just a path I need to set. I just set the path. I'm able to read the data. Okay, but am I establishing the connection again? Am I executing the mount code again or not? No. Okay.
No.
Let's say, let me just take the hard coded values. Okay, it will be easy. Let me take this entire code. Okay, copy this code, create a new notebook, test Python. I'm trying to read the create.csv file from this path. Okay, so attaching to this cluster in a new notebook. Am I able to read the data from new notebook? You will see, yes, we will be able to read the data from the new notebook. Okay, this is a mount point advantage. Mount point will be available across all the notebooks. If you want to check the mounts that are available, dbutils.fs.mounts. See, mount point is still available. It will be available in all the clusters. Let's say now I am restarting the cluster. Restart. Yes, it takes some time. Don't worry, because I need to show you all the scenarios. These scenarios are very important because in interview people may confuse you, or maybe in real-time perspective also, if some issue comes, you should understand why this issue comes. Yes, Naresh, I am going to show you each and everything. Just wait. Not for that particular cluster, it will create with a new cluster as well. I'll show you all those scenarios. One by one, I'll show you. So the cluster is restarting. Now you will see what happens after restart of the cluster. Nothing will happen. We will be able to read from any notebook. See, after the cluster is restarted, read it. So waiting to run. Why? Because cluster is restarted. Again, there are internal Spark sessions. Everything will get refreshed or created. So that's why it has to. It will take some time to read again. Okay, but connection we are not establishing. Okay, if you think no, maybe you restarted from here, something happens, some instance is there. You create a new notebook. test2_Python. I'll show you with all the use cases.
So Malay, when you're writing it to a specific,
Wait, I'll show you everything. I'll take all your question. Okay, so now you see I'm basically able to read after restart. Okay, so this is a test2_Python and this is a cluster. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to the cluster. I'll delete this cluster. Okay, how to delete this cluster is, you see there is a delete option. You delete this cluster completely. Okay, wait for a few minutes, just wait for 1 minute or something, so that I'll go and create the new cluster again. Okay, I'll go and create the new cluster again. So let's try to create a new cluster maybe. So this Photon engine is very fast one, so we'll talk about it. Cloudpandith lab practice. So this is a, as we are using single node, choose single node, click create cluster. New cluster I am creating. Yeah, tell me now your question.
so Malay, like when you're writing it to a specific output folder, right, or path. So can you store? I mean, I wanted to save it with a specific name.
No, that is not possible. You can't store with a specific name in Spark. That was possible in the data flow, but that is not possible in the Spark. Okay, with a specific name you cannot store, but within a single file, if you want to store all the data, you can able to store. If the data is storing in a 10 files, if you want to store it in a single file, that is possible, but other thing is not possible. Vice versa. Okay.
Okay, so how do we make sure that this particular input has returned this output? Like, will it write something in the logs?
I did not get you. What is that?
So let's say we ran a job which actually read 10 files and it created 10 output files. So, and we have done some transformations to cleanse the data or something like that. So, so if I'm referring to the output folder, so how do I make sure that this file is created from a particular input?
See,
because we don't
whenever
have a name.
no, listen. Whenever you have already existing folder with some data, when you are writing a new data, how you know all this data is going and reflecting there? You need to take audit logs. How many of these are updated? How many of these are new records? So all these auditing we will capture. When you capture auditing, So in the auditing, you will have the count. So when the count is mismatched, whatever data you have, you are writing into the target. After writing, if you think no, maybe the write is not happened. After write is successful, you try to read again from the your output path and get the count. So the count, whatever you expected, the count, whatever is getting after you written and reading. After writing, you are reading. Okay. After writing, you are reading now. So getting the count, there is a the final count you have. Now you are expecting some count. Okay, you have cleansed, you know, so these many records are rejected, these many records are good records you have written. The count should match, right? If the count is matched, then good, everything is written. If the count is not matched, so based on the project to project, they'll put some thresholds. If the threshold is greater than 0.5, I want to trigger a notification. If the threshold is less than 0.001, then I don't want to take any action. So based on that, you can decide whether to trigger a notification or not. Okay.
Okay, Malay.
Hi,
One more
Malaya.
question. Sorry. So if we have one input file and if we are trying to create two output files, like we are applying some business logic and we are trying to create two files. So and you're referring to the output folder and you have two files, right? So looking at the name, can we look at this name created in that folder and can we backtrace to which logic created this file?
Backtrace, no, you can't do those things. Which process is written and all, if you want. So see, basically you are mainly focusing on the auditing. So in the auditing, you will have clear. So you remember in SD1 and SD2 also, we have created by, updated by. So they're created by, updated by. Who is created by and updated by? That process. Which process is created, which process is updated. So that process names, when you have in the data, you will realize, okay, this particular data is processed by this particular data record is updated by this process. You will come to know like that from the audit columns in the SD1 and SD2, right? Similarly, you have to maintain, if your process is not having the audit logs in your table, at least you need to maintain outside. Okay, this particular table is updated by this process at this time. So some logs you need to maintain explicitly. Nobody is going to maintain for us. Okay.
Okay, got it. Thank you, Malay.
Hello, Malaya. I have one question. In input,
Mm,
I have two files. One is customer and one is employee. Okay.
okay.
I'm writing these two files to the same output folder. Then how I can differentiate, like this is the customer output and this is the employee output, as
So
the
first,
file names are
no,
not.
no, no, no. Listen. See, these
Yeah.
all things are invalid questions. First thing, whatever question you ask, that will not exist in real time. The reason is in real time, everything there is a folder structure. So are you new batch or you are from the previous batch? Chidanand, right? Who asked this question?
New branch,
New
new
batch.
batch.
So because previous batch, they know in using ADF, when we are ingesting data from on-premise to cloud, how we created like you'll have a global folder. Under that, if it is a India, you'll have India. Then you will have different folders, like maybe we discussed raw, staging, processed, or you may have the uh, bronze, silver, gold, and so on. You will have, let's say, bronze folder you have. Under that, you will have a cust. Under that, today data will be there under 2022 0808. So in this structure, we will store data. So every day data also we are not storing in the same folder. So you will create a separate folder for every day data that we are loading. So in that case, why you will load data into the custom EMP? That is simply like when you are talking, that idea will be existed, but the real time scenario will not exist, because if you are simply storing like that, you will not be able to manage the data properly. You are talking about few records you will consider and you will talk, but in real time, lot of data that is going to come on daily basis. So if anything goes wrong, it's very difficult to backtrace, and that is bad design, I can say. Okay. So that's why data maintenance also very important. You need to understand how to store. But when it comes to your question, so what happens if I store a custom EMPs? These all things I'll answer when we are reading the CSV files, parsing CSV files and all. You will come to know what happens is you return the custom EMP data into the same folder. and you are reading the data. When you are reading data, cust is having the cust ID, EMP is having EMP ID, then it will display two columns. And for the cust data, when it is displaying cust data, EMP will be shown as null. Okay, because cust is not having EMP ID column. Similarly, cust ID will not be there in the EMP ID, so it will be shown as a null for the EMP ID. So cust ID will be shown as a null while reading the employee file. So as it reads both files at once, this will be the output which it generates. Okay, one
No,
is the
no, Malaya.
customer.
My question was like, I have two files. Okay. In
Hmm.
input, I have two files. As of just now, we have written one file to the cust out, right?
Hmm.
It created part and the output file name, part and something. The unique
Okay.
ID is there. Okay.
Hmm.
Suppose I have two files. I have written these two files to the same output folder. Okay.
Hmm.
How I can differentiate, like, this is the
You
customer output
cannot
file and this is
differentiate.
the.
No, you can't
Okay.
differentiate until unless you open the file and see.
Oh, yeah, that is my question.
Okay. Yogini, I think let me answer her question. She is asking lot of questions. I think for that particular cluster with a new cluster as well, it will work. Yes, it will. It is working with a new cluster, right? If you see here, I just created a new cluster. I'm trying to read it, so it is going to work next. If I create a new cluster with a new notebook, can I use the same endpoint? Yes, I'll show you that also. You just have seen I created the what I created the new cluster and I am creating the new notebook, and you attach this and execute this will work. And I'll show you the mount point also that is available. fs dot mounts, execute this mount point is available. Let's say I want to unmount this. How to unmount means detach the connection. How to detach the connection? Just let's say dbutils dot fs dot. So if anybody don't know the commands and all, I told you how to get all this information without remembering anything. Okay, mnt/global, execute this will be unmounted means this will be detached. This will be detached now. Okay, let's see. Okay, mnt/global has been unmounted. Now you just create a mount, you just check mount. Is it showing? No. Now you try to read it. What happens? You see path not found, it will show. Okay, path not found. Doesn't matter from which notebook you are trying to read. From all the notebooks, it will give you the same problem, same issue. It will show you. You can just try to see here. Just read it. Yeah, this is a new cluster we created. Let me attach to it and read it. It will show you the same problem. So what it is saying? Path not exists. Path not exists. It is saying. Clear all of you now? All of you clear till here?
Yes, Malaya.
Yes.
Okay, now good. So as I mentioned, Databricks is costly. I clearly told you not to create a free trial at this time. So I'll tell you when to create a free trial, but I told you to use a Databricks community. Let me just do same things in the Databricks community now. What happens if I do same things in the Databricks community is go to the compute. Let's create the cluster very quickly. Demo cluster. I'm creating new notebook called notebook in Python. Okay, for blob mount, some notebook name I'm giving because I need to complete this. Now only one problem is take everything as it is, whatever you developed here, say similarly you do all those things. Only problem is at this moment, as you are using a free trial, these secrets you cannot connect to the keyword. So that's why what you need to do is, because if you try to do the create secrets / create scope, this will not work. Okay, this will not work, you see. Oh my god. Okay, they added, very good. Okay, AKV connection, this is good to know. AKV connection for all users. Let me try. Very good. So they also added this. I did not know, because for previous batches and all I was in that perspective. They have not added it. Okay, copy this resource ID. We just have seen. Shit, not this one. Copy this, put this here, copy this, put this here, and create it. See, secret API is not supported in this workspace. You understood? So basically, this will not work. Okay, I think that time also it used to display this still here, but ultimately this will not work. Okay, this is the problem. So that's why what I wanted to tell you is, you know already how to use the keyword. Okay, I just have explained. Now what you can do to practice in the Databricks community, instead of hard coding, instead of storing in the keyword, what you can do is you can directly take the key. Okay, copy this key, put it in the notebook. This is not recommended in real time. This is for practice purpose. You can do it, but in real time, you know, you need to store this key in the key vault, and you need to use that this mount point to read the files. Okay, fine. So now I'll just create a source path. Source path equal to mnt/global/credit data. Credit, only credit, right? So let's try to read this CSV file here. Spark.read dot format of CSV. Anything you can use, any syntax. Okay. Option header equal to dot load srs underscore path. This is the df dot show. Execute this. So we can also see the mount points that are already available. dbutils.fs.mounts. See here, we are able to display this, and you can see the mount point that we just created is mnt/global. Earlier I also created mnt/cloudpandith, and so on. Now we have, okay, other things, you know, those are the default mount points that will be there when you create a workspace. Got it? I am able to read. Now if I unmount this, dbutils.fs.unmount of mnt/global, execute this. After unmount, you try to read it, because even though you execute all the cells at once, the first execution happened to this. So after the execution of this cell, then only it will go here. All the cells will not execute parallelly. Okay, if you want to execute any particular code parallelly, there is a multi-threading concept that you need to use. Okay, that I'll show you. See here, the mount point unmounting is successful. Immediately it is saying the path not exist. Path not exist. Clear? You check the mounts now. Mount also will not be available. MNT global is not available. So you can recreate the mount point again. After that, you can read the data. So reading is completed, but let's say I want to write the data also. How? df.write dot mode is, let's say, overwrite. Okay, format of JSON. Let me show you how the JSON looks like. JSON.save. Save to which location? So I want to see the this one is working now. Okay, I want to write it into credit JSON. The new folder I am trying to create with a credit JSON. Option header equal not required. Header equal to true is not required for the JSON files. All of you clear? So now you come here. So if you all are clear till here, I'll go with the Scala now. This is this one. Come here.
Malaya, after appending, will blob storage accept duplicates?
Yes. Credit JSON, but anyhow, this is the new JSON, new folder. But you are asking now. Earlier itself, I have shown you, right? I have appended. See, this is the JSON structure. JSON will look like this. Okay. Remember, friends, JSON I have written as a JSON. JSON will look like this. Okay. But how to handle different types of files, we will see. How to connect to different storages, all those things in Python and Scala. We'll see. First, let's close this. Can I move on for the Scala, or any questions still here before I move on to the Scala? Create a notebook, credit Scala. Execute this.
But files it will overwrite, right? Duplicate files it will overwrite.
Why duplicate files? It will overwrite. Clearly, I tell you, you cannot control the file names. File names will be created default with the default names. You are not giving the same file name, right?
Not here, Malaya. Usually I'm asking generally.
Usually
Blob
is different.
storage.
Spark is different. Spark is different. Spark behavior is different. In Spark, you cannot control the file names. You need to write data into same file. What happens if you try to give the file name? I'll show you. I think you people are completely. Let's say I'll try to give a file name. What happened to this? I think mount point is disconnected. Let's create a mount point again. See, any doubts that you have, don't accept the theory. You need to see practically, experience it. Whatever doubts you have before you come to me, you also can try to explore what happens. You just to try. See, if you are getting an error, nothing is going to happen. What happens? Nothing, right? You're not paying anything. Okay, error comes, I need to pay 100 rupees. No, right? That is completely free only. Learn it. When you get the errors, you learn more. Okay. Now you see df dot write dot format of CSV option header equal to true dot save. Where I want to save is mnt slash global slash credit slash my data dot txt. So I'm just saying my data dot CSV. Let's write it. My data dot CSV is what now? It's a file name. You have given file name. What happens in background? It will create a folder with my data dot CSV. It does not care about whether it's a file name you are specifying. Back. You will think that okay, dot CSV there is a CSV file. No. Background, it will create a subfolder. Let me show you that. Go to credit. What is the name I have given? Oh my god. In the same input, I have written output also. See my data. See my data.cs, what it is created. It is created a folder. Under that folder, it is written the again part files. But my data.cs, is it a folder or file? My data.cs is a folder or file. It's a folder. It's created the folder. Okay. Next. Okay. Are we good till here now? You can't control the file name. So that's why override. So if you are specifying, if you are pointing to the same file, you will it override. That concept is not existed here. Okay, outside in any other example in here in my desktop, I create a one more Python file with empty. It will simply tell you the empty file is already existed. Do you want to overwrite? Yes, overwrite it. So that is in other concepts that will exist, but in Spark that concept is not existed. Clear? Okay, fine. So now what I want is, I think I created the Scala notebook. This is a Scala. Oh, what? It is coming Python. I think. Let me move to trash. You know, right? Trash is nothing but a not going to delete immediately, but it will delete later. Notebook or Scala mount blob. Okay, mount blob. Practice it. So this is in Scala. Now let's go and get the same things from the documentation, but this time we're using what? Scala. Copy this, put that here. So same config key, you need to go and bring it. Same config key. Okay. So now container name, which container you want to mount it? Global. So before that, let me check dbutils.fs.mounts. What mounts are there? So it doesn't matter whether it's a Scala or Python, the dbutil commands are same. Okay. but this will display in a different way. You need to order this. This is the main problem. Okay. So you see mnt/global is already existed, doesn't matter for which language. Okay. But let's see, before I move on and see val df equal to spark dot read dot format of same CSV dot option header equal to true dot load. Same you need to give mnt/. So I said one thing, you remember, double quote, single quote, something. What is that? What is the one thing that I talked about?
Scala sport double quotes.
Scala.
Double quotes you try to use in the Scala I mentioned. Okay.
Suppose only double quotes, I think.
See here, it's not a capital T, small t in the Scala. In Scala, true also, it's not a capital T, it's a small t. Remember, okay. See, now I am able to read the data even in the Scala using the same mount point. I have not created the mount point. Okay, mount point even available in the other language. Now I want to unmount. Okay, DBFS, because I want to create a mount point in the Python. Sorry, in the Scala. mnt/global. I'm unmounting, but let's say you are primarily working on Scala. You want to create the like this mount point also from the Scala perspective. Let's see what you can do. Global is the container name I replaced. This is the storage account name. So let's do better way is, good thing is, take this entire thing, whatever you have, keep it here as a backup. Now you replace all these things. Only thing is, this is a Python code, this is a Scala code. I'm just replacing all these things in the Scala. You don't have any subdirectory, remove this. And fs the storage account name, you know, this is the storage account name. You put the storage account name here. Then secrets, scopes, all those things. Small syntaxes will be there. I just have shown you true and val, everything, right? So here it's a AKV connection. Blob account key. You just put blob account key here. Execute this. Okay, it's a true. Now you check that. Again, just display it. See here, mnt/global is created. Okay, but this time we created this mount point using what? Using Scala. So same. So even though mount point is available in Python, I just unmounted in the Scala notebook. Okay, while reading the data, val is nothing but a mutable or immutable. I'll talk about it. Val and var, there are two things that you need to understand. So this is a must. You must use this val or var. Okay, val or var. One of this you must use. Okay. So this is how we can able to read in data. This is how we can create the data frame in Scala, and this is how we can able to create the mount point in the Scala. Okay, this is a Python one. Just for backup, we can remove this. Okay, that's all. Any questions? So please practice it, because based on this only we will have a mount point for data lake storage Gen 2 and mount point for AWS S3, any cloud storages, anything. If you want to establish mount point, similarly will be there. As I mentioned, yeah, let me give you the documentation link. This is the ultimate documentation. Doesn't matter whether you are working for the Python or Scala. So same documentation. Okay, so you can see here, if you want to connect to AWS S3, Redshift, Cosmos DB, Cassandra, Couch, Elasticsearch, Google BigQuery, Google Cloud Storage. Google Cloud Storage is like your AWS S3 or Blob storage or data lake storage. BigQuery is kind of your data warehouse. Okay, so such type of thing. But these things in the Google Cloud. Okay, from Google Cloud also you can connect, because Databricks is exist in all the cloud providers, Databricks, AWS, and Azure. Whatever community we are using, which cloud provider is providing community edition? Who is providing the community? AWS. Okay.
AWS.
We have shown you proofs, right? I have shown you when you create a cluster, it is creating the EC2 instance. Okay. Okay. So any other questions? If no questions, then thank you all. Thank you. That's all for today.